Artificial intelligence. I mean, it's not science fiction anymore, is it? It's everywhere. It's in our phones, it's in our cars, it's in the apps we use every single day without even thinking about it. But as this technology gets more and more powerful, we have to stop and ask a really critical question. What kind of values are we actually building into the code that's starting to run our world? Just let that sink in for a second. What happens when the AI that's supposed to make our lives easier or fairer or more efficient, what if it has its own hidden prejudices? That's really the heart of what we're going to dig into today, the very real, very human side of AI ethics. To really get a grip on the stakes here, let's just look at some examples of where things have already gone sideways. And these aren't just thought experiments. These are real-world cases where flawed algorithms have had a major impact on people's lives. Okay, so picture this. You're wrongly identified as a criminal suspect. Why? Because a facial recognition system made a mistake. It sounds wild, but studies have shown again and again that a lot of these systems are way less accurate when they're identifying women and people of color. Now, that's not just some technical glitch. It's a massive failure with really serious human consequences. Or how about trying to get a job? So many companies are now using AI to sift through thousands of resumes. But what happens if that AI was trained on a company's past hiring data? Data that might be full of old, unconscious biases. Well, the result is an AI that might automatically penalize a resume just because it mentions women's chess club or because of the neighborhood you come from. And just like that, it filters out perfectly qualified people before a single human being ever even sees their name. And then, of course, there's your personal data. Every single click, every search, every post you make, it all creates this huge digital footprint. And AI systems are using that footprint to make decisions about you, often completely without your consent or you even knowing it's happening. It really forces us to ask, in this new automated world, what does our right to privacy actually mean anymore? So all of these problems, they really point to a couple of core ethical questions that we absolutely have to get right. And it all kind of boils down to three key ideas: bias, fairness, and privacy. Let's kick things off with AI bias. Honestly, this is the root cause of the problems we just walked through. It's when an AI's decisions aren't neutral at all, but instead they create these systematically unfair outcomes for certain groups of people. And it's not because of some evil intention, but because of the flawed, biased data it learned from in the first place. It really all comes down to a super simple principle you've probably heard before: garbage in, garbage out. If we feed an AI a steady diet of historical data that reflects our own societal prejudices, like hiring records from a much less equitable time, well, the AI is going to learn those biases. But here's the real kicker. It doesn't just learn them, it applies them systematically and at a massive scale, basically amplifying the original problem. So, the goal, the antidote to all this, is fairness. And this is about so much more than just avoiding bias. It's about proactively designing AI systems to make sure they treat everyone equitably and don't create or, worse, reinforce disadvantages. It's the hard work of building justice right into the system from the start. And right alongside fairness, you have privacy. This is just fundamental. In the age of AI, privacy means you, and only you, have the right to control your personal information. Your data shouldn't be scooped up, shared, or used for things you never agreed to. Period. All of this, it leads to a conclusion that's pretty much inescapable. This technology, it doesn't just appear out of thin air, right? We build it, we train it. And because of that, we are responsible for it. I know it's a familiar phrase, but it has never, ever been more true. AI is an unbelievably powerful tool. And since we're its creators, the responsibility for how it's used, ethically or not, that rests squarely on our shoulders. The developers, the policymakers, and yeah, even us as users. So how do we actually live up to that responsibility? Well, it starts by focusing on a really clear set of principles so we can build AI that we can actually trust. The path forward is actually pretty logical. It all starts with a deep commitment to fairness. But that fairness has to be backed up by transparency, because we need to be able to understand how these systems are working. And it's only when you have both of those things locked in place that you can get to the final and most important goal: trust. So, let's just put it all together. Fairness isn't passive. It's about actively going in and correcting for bias. And transparency isn't optional. We just can't accept black box AIs making decisions that affect our lives. When a system is open to scrutiny and its results are just,
That is how you build trustworthy AI. And that brings us right back to where we started, but hopefully with a new perspective. There's no doubt that AI is going to shape our future. The values that we choose to embed in it today, well, that's entirely up to us. And this isn't just a question for tech companies or for regulators, it's a question for all of us. How are we going to make sure it's fair for everyone?